Hey everybody, we're jumping back in. Um, and this one is just a quick kind of, uh, not really a showcase, but kind of an explanation. This one is um, a quick way to talk about why I play or why I continue to have, um, can't think of the name of the mods right now. They're just totally escape me. Legendary Recycler and Darkstar Astrodynamics in my mod list and in my load in my load order when I have Darkstar Gaming Overhaul. And there's a pretty significant reason why. And part of it is me and some things I'm just not willing to do without, and part of it's kind of control, and part of it is kind of a way to counter a lot of the things that Darkstar Game Overhaul changes from how it was before. And when I say before, so what we're talking about, and I don't know why this is here. So let's take a look. Oh, recover UC files on Iridani 4. Recover stolen. So yeah, this mission actually does not work. So we're gonna get off of here and go do something else. And it's one of those unfortunate things too, because it's really the first time, or one of the first instances that we can actually go and look and say, oh, Dark Universe Overtime has an issue, and it's a little sad that that's the case, right? Because it is one of my favorite mods, so it's very sad that that mod doesn't work, and I don't really know, but I haven't really cared to troubleshoot it either to see why or what could be causing the problem. And then the other thing is, I don't know that I could troubleshoot it and figure out what's causing the issues. It could be anything, and so it's like, oh well, it just doesn't work. So instead of wrecking my brain trying to figure out exactly what's causing it not to work, or trying to get all the mods, sorted out and figuring out exactly what's going on there, is like, screw it, And as a matter of fact, let's see, danger, Queen Pest. We are not going to. Why am I even on Iridani 4? Like there's nothing going on Iridani 4. Really? It's like I really need to be on Iridani 4 for some reason. There are a buttload of other things that we could be doing, and going to Iridani is hanging out on this rock is not one of them. Okay, so you notice I didn't change my quest. So we're gonna come on out of here. So let's just go over some basics first, and then that way we can look at certain things and kind of know what's going on. Even though I don't eat chunks, my character does not eat chunks, and that is because of a quest mod that we completed. That, from that point on, chunks is not something you eat, not anything you would want to eat. So, but that's another story. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about this character. So this character is Grace Brooks, level 57. Background, you can see that as an extended background, right? Is a hitman, but also grew up worshiping the great serpent. So serpents embraced. Strong back, and steadfast. Stubborn as they come. You usually get your way, right? And then your spine, it says incredibly inflexible, is incredibly inflexible. The increased support gives you a plus 75 carry weight. So that is our character. That is Grace. And right now we're a little over encumbered, right? So we got to get that sorted. Level 57 though. And then as skills, you saw we have a kind of quite a few good, a good amount of skills. Skills that we do have that could be improved. We may need to expend a point here based on the mods that we have loaded. But as a matter of fact, while we're here, let's just look at our gameplay settings. So you see we've made it up to hard. Sustenance, we got to turn that off because we have peak performance on there now. We do not put any of these on. And you see peak performance right here. A boost. And you can see this is higher than I usually go. Right there. It's about right. Yep. And then real fuel is set up, but we got to remove. Oh, it's not there. So good. All right. So real fuel is set up. Immersive looting is still there. Auto harvesting. So that is our Shades vehicle tuner. We do always increase the cargo storage space, and all right, and then we have out in the blackness, and what we do is, we put these two there so that it knows that we do have a fuel system installed, and that we did start with an alternative start. Now, I believe, and with this character hasn't actually started the Constellation quest line. And the Constellation quest line is that indicator that Out in the Blackness would use as, okay, we can go ahead and kick in. Well, if you have an alternate start mod, it will say, oh, okay, well, we need to kick in anyway and not wait for the Constellation thing. And then we have here Gorefield loaded. And then you can see this is all just default. We haven't changed anything here. Then we also have Bedlam loaded. And you can see I'm going to boost this one. And then I'm also going to boost that. And that. And then this. We're going to boost that to max. Then we also have cost of spacing. And then tiny reasons to explore. So you can see there's a lot of mods always here. Fleet availability is from Darkstar. No, it's from Watchtower. Sorry. And so we could turn down the ambush chance to say easy, and so they would happen less. And then this one belongs to TG's Galactic. I can't remember something. But what it does is it extends what type of loot you get from alien critters. So, and you can see Darkstar Game Overhaul is on Punish Me, and pretty much everything else is default, right? I don't mess with it. And then we also have this, and we're going to test this out while we're here, just to show what it looks like. The Settled Systems shuttle service. Now, there was a mod that I had downloaded like over a year ago. It was RN Genesis, and that was an alternate start mod. And it looked promising, and it looked like, hey, if it would have worked, It would have been an awesome way to start, but it did not work. As a matter of fact, it is one of those, since I can't even find it anymore. So I can't even I can't even say I don't, I don't recommend it, because it just doesn't exist anymore, or it's hidden, or been pulled or something. But it will just totally wreck your game, and it was like very irresponsible to put that mod out. In truth, it was, because it just didn't work. It didn't work at all. Um, so what we got here is basically, I would consider this a mid-level character. Not high, but not low either. Kind of teetering on the low side, but a little bit up there. I'm gonna say anywhere 50 to 100 is like mid-level. So it's a wide range. Under 50, you're still kind of low level, right? And then anything 100 and above is you get into the realm of high level characters, right? And then because I really think at 120, 125, I don't I don't know that there's much difference besides just your level, and then how many different skills you have enabled at that point or mastered. But you're pretty much, that is where you are. That is who you are, what you are, and so yeah, you can get up to level 200, level 300, but I don't know that your world, it yeah. So, okay, so the thing that we want to look at here is we want to get back to our ship. So our ship is wait, I'm gonna take this off. Wait, I'm gonna take this off, and actually want to kind of want to point to Genesis. There we go. So what is this right here though? So you see Marine. I don't know what he's doing there, but hey, more power to you. Can you tell me why you stopped going?
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah, I don't know what the UC Marine is doing there, but at this point. Okay, so we got a couple of Marines here, but you can see there's a couple of beast over there, and I don't know what's going on. Like, why is this Marine just standing there?
Pardon.
He's a leatherneck, that's why. But you can see these guys over here. No, we're not really wanting to mess with them. But what we want to do is find our ship. And then we kind of not want to. Now, we're on Eridani 4. What in the world is all these Marines doing, man?
Guess what?
Okay. Now, the funny part about Eridani 4 is this. Where's my vehicle? Do I not have a vehicle? Abandoned farm. Unknown. Oasis. Civilian outpost. I would have assumed I would have had a vehicle. Are you telling me I ran all the way over here without a vehicle? Okay, see, I'm over encumbered. But that's, oh, well, how far are we away? 300? Okay, we can run that. Granted, though, it doesn't necessarily mean we'll make it. Just means we can run over there real quick. Alright, we'll take the credits. Now, there's a mod that we have on here that's like tiny reasons to explore. And what that mod does... What is that right there? Seriously? Even though we just bogged ourselves down with more weight. But that's weird. So what it does is, if you come up to little spots like this, and this one might not have anything, but there's a strong chance that you might find a little box, and then of course not here, which is kind of funny because every time I've actually decided that I was going to look, I always find one, and it will say hidden treasure. And that is it, hidden treasure. So there's these hidden treasures all throughout the galaxy, actually. I'm just not sure what in the world is going on with these floaty boxes. There's a lot of... It concerns me a little bit that they're just sitting there floating in the air, and I lost... Okay, that's where my ship was. Okay. I am literally shocked that here on Eridani 4, we actually made it all the way back to our ship. But that's fine too. Can we not? See this? Terramorph Hunter. Is it dead? That is not a Terramorph Hunter. What in the world is going on there? That is a interloper. That is weird. See these things right here? They are the worst. Grilobas. They're the worst. Oh. Alright, let's get back on the ship. I forgot about this. Okay. Acknowledge. Alright. So, what we're going to do is... Real quick here. What's our... Alright, since we're on the ship, we have considerably more cargo space than we would not on the ship. Which is probably why I was still carrying around a bunch of stuff. Other reason being that some of the stuff needs to go into the recycler. That is awesome. That is pretty chill. I kind of like that. I am kind of concerned that I don't actually have a spacesuit of my own. All right, for right now, that's a balanced one, so I'm gonna put that on. That's pretty chill. Ooh, I like that. Not a big fan of the Trackers Alliance. I think something is broken. More than likely, she would have been wearing miscreant gear. Well, she's got the Varun stuff on. Oh, smuggler veteran cape. Okay. Okay. Then, store that. Store. Okay. We have a ton of consumables. Holy cow. Got enough alcohol? Okay. Okay, what else? All right. Okay, so, all right, we're gonna take off. What system are we in? We're in Eridani. Okay, and instead of going there real quick, actually, we're gonna go to Wolf. And then I'm going to show you the first part of why Darkstar Astrodynamics instead of, or not instead of, but even though all of it supposedly is incorporated in with Darkstar Game Overhaul. So I'm going to show you a couple of things here. Excuse me. So we're going to start here, and then we're going to go to Gagarin, and then we're going to go over to Paradiso. Okay, so the legendary recycler, the reason I keep that one, and someone asked me, And the main reason I keep that one is because the legendary recycler allows me to pull. And as a matter of fact, we might as well just go back and then start there. Okay, so let's jump down and let's get to, oh, we're already here. Okay, so with the legendary recycler, we can just walk right up, go over here and come to my inventory, and then we can say, okay, I want to recycle that, I want to recycle that, this one for sure. We're going to hold on to this one, even though actually we're going to recycle that too. And then this one, we're good. Okay, so we're going to go just like that. Not going to recycle any gear. We're going to recycle these two. And then we're going to recycle that. Okay, and then with the apparel, no, I'm going to leave that. Okay, so we got all that, right? What this allows us to do at this point is, one, with the recycler, we can come in here and you see it's just the straight up legendary mods, right? So on one side is the weapon and the other side is the armor. And then you can buy more cores if you need to. And then when we put that in there, all we gotta do is come in here, go to resources, and then we can grab all the cores and legendaries that we just basically pulled off of the gear, right? And then we can just walk right on over to any one of these. Excuse me. We can walk over to anyone. Excuse me. Oh, okay. And then we can just start putting that onto the gear that we have. So like this one, I can say short barrel. I want reflex sights. Standard, no, I'd rather have a suppressor on there. Let's go ergonomic. Let's put the laser sight on there. Armor piercing, right? Internal, we don't have high powered yet, so we can't make it a little bit more. So I'll leave that one. Now this one is semi-automatic. The cool part is I can still switch it to burst fire and not take a hit to the amount of damage it does. I prefer burst fire to semi-automatic and fully automatic, but I also prefer fully automatic to semi-automatic. So we can't change the skin. So very first thing is oxygenated. These right here are added by Gorefield. But I'm going to come down here and I'm going to look at, see, these are added by the Darkstar, right? But we haven't gotten there yet. We haven't gotten the requirements done in order to use those. But I got explosive, I got exterminator, flesh melting. But what I do, the two that the tier ones, socket ones, are extended and furious. Those are the ones that really I would use more than anything, right? Now, furious, each consecutive hit deals more damage. So if you have a fully automatic or burst fire weapon, guess what? You're hitting your target multiple times each time, and each time you hit it deals more damage. Boom. Not chilling is, to me, OP, and I love it because it freezes the target, and the chance to freeze is pretty high, especially if you're using a burst fire or fully automatic weapon, right? Because you're hitting it multiple times. So you're going to freeze the target, take it down, and then, fine. So either one for me will work, right? Chilling is, to me, the best one. If you can't get chilling right away, then throw Hitman on there, right? So at least when you're aiming, you can do 15% more damage, right? And then finally, to me, and then here's the thing, and I don't know why, but Tesla, all right, shattering will do more damage, right? And breakthrough, like you said, breakthrough. Tesla though is crazy, right? It is crazy where you actually watch it, especially like if you're fighting Terramorphs or something like that, and you see it hit and it kicks in, and then you just see the health bar just draining. And you're like, whoa. So if I have it, I'll put it on the weapon. So now I got my weapon. The quality I can't do anything about. And then boom. So that is my preferred weapon right there. Well, one variation of my preferred weapon. The thing is, you can only do that if you have yeah, so we can't get that on there. And then I would love to have a, can I do drum? Yeah, I can do drum. You can only do that. Let's see what we got here. Do we have another Hitman? I have another Hitman. What do I have? Yeah, I'm gonna put that on there. And concussive. Okay, we'll knock him down. So we don't have anything else that we could use, so that'll work. That'll work for that guy. So what Legendary Recycler did for me was it allowed me to get all that stuff done and do everything here and here without all the added in rigmarole, right? Or just added in, and just speaking plainly, nonsense, in my opinion. Just, it's like, and then we'll talk about that in a little bit too. I'll go more in detail to that. Just the added nonsense, right? And just annoyance. That's a better word. The added annoyances is really what I'm really trying to get at right now. So I'm not like saying, where's it's right here. I'm standing right in front of it. So given that and having the ability to go ahead and create and to do that without having to deal with actually worrying about just looking for Mantis real quick here, see if that's actually loaded, and it is not. Worried about whether I have all the necessary skills enabled and everything like that, because right now I was able to do it and didn't have to worry about anything, right? All I had to do was just do it. And if you don't have all the necessary skills enabled, then you are kind of poop out of luck, right? You know what I mean? What are you going to do? You're kind of done. And, oh, I knew what it was. I missed it. Yeah, all right. Sorry. There's a couple of things that we need to make here because of the real O2 mod. So one was the emergency thing, and then we need this one here. You only need to make one. It's reusable, but you need to have one. And then as a matter of fact, while we're here, we should, so it's under consumable. So you need to make sure you have that, and then that you do have those two ready to go at all times. And then if you have the skill, you'll come over and you will modify. All right, so yeah, we need to. All right, so I will do oxygen reserves. I used to do extra capacity, but now it's oxygen reserve. And then look, we can do experimental scrubbers. That is a deal breaker if you have the Real O2 mod. All right, so first things first. I do not do, and we're gonna do this right here. Just yeah, we're tripling down on the oxygen on this thing. And then since I'm right here, and we have two. Oh yeah, all right. So let's get that on there. Let's get that carry weight. And do we have mechanized? We do not. That sucks. All right, so we can do reactive. Okay, so, but if we didn't do that, if we didn't have the legendary recycler, we couldn't do what we're doing right now. We would have to wait until we technically. Hold on a sec. I'm gonna do ball string, and then we're gonna do. You see how much faster it is? Acrobat, and then armor plated. Even though, and then I'm gonna put the 10 carry weight right there. And then see how far we can go. We can go level 3. You can see how the damage resistance and everything went up, right? With each quality level that we can do there. That's the biggest deal breaker for Crimson Fleet's the Crimson Fleet gear. Okay, so here, I'm going to actually I'm going to put technician on here, and then Essen, right? While we can, and then armor plated, all the resistance in the world. Then we're gonna boost the carry up to 10, and then we're gonna, yep. And then we did that. Are we actually wearing? All right, so let's go down. So we already have a rune. Okay, we already have one on that has the stuff. We got that one loaded. We're gonna take that off. Then I think we're going to want to load this one up just in case we decide to use it. And the Play-Doh, yep. And then let's go here. And then there. Okay. And then we're gonna throw that on there too. I know we're concentrating like so much towards the weight stuff. Okay. Did we not do that one? Okay. Alright, so let's see what we can do. More shielding, definitely. Sensor. Oh, can't do it. We might not have the resources as opposed to the ability. Can't hurt. And then so that'll do for now. And then, did we not do the suit? Do we have the suit? Where's the suit? That's not the one we're wearing, right? Even though, are we not wearing a suit right now? I don't know that we're wearing a suit. We're not. Right? Okay. Keep getting confused. Alright. So let's go ahead. Ballistic shielding. Do we have enough? Yes! Hypercure sealant. So if you get shot and a puncture wound in your suit, this helps to reduce the loss of oxygen that you will suffer. Pocket it. Gotta go with that. Even though usually I do sometimes opt for the plating there to help with stealth. And if we had another mechanized, I would definitely throw that on there. Okay. All right, so right now we're going to change. Oop, gosh darn it. Too much fallout. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the gloves. Takes a minute. Then I'm going to switch to this outfit. And then I'm going to switch there. Okay. And I'm not worried about the other stuff that has things on it because, I mean, I could wear either one, to tell you the truth. Let's see. But I like the black jacket. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Okay. Yep. Okay. So that is what this does for us. The module recycler allows us to do all that. If we didn't have that, and then let me go and we're going to show you real quick. We're going to get off the ship now that we got that taken care of. We're going to try to get off the ship. Okay. Is it right here? Oh, never mind. Okay. So
you should inspect your ship for heat leeches every couple landings. No?
Oh, you got some cash. Okay, nope. Can you afford this one? Yep. Okay.
Cause plenty of havoc if left unchecked.
All right. So this guy here,
Hey, what can I
he is from Darkstar Astrodynamics. He is not part of Darkstar Game Overhaul. Okay. So if you were to just solely go with Darkstar Game Overhaul, he's gone. He will not be here. So that is one key thing right there, because there's only like one or two places with Darkstar Astrodynamics that you can go, and that's where he'll be. And as far as I know, it is
I
here,
can help you with?
and I honestly don't remember because I never went anywhere else to go to. I always came here. But what
Hey,
it allows you
what
to
can I
do,
do for you?
all right, I would like to view, well, first I'm going to top off my fuel
Consider
tanks.
done.
Okay, and then I like to view and modify my ships.
Okay, no problem.
All right, and I don't know how much. Oh, we got a good amount of money, but okay. So these things here, they are Darkstar Astrodynamics, right? And you can see the DSA, XDC, discrete cargo, and then you see their 1000 cargo shielded, right? And then you see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of those on our ship. And that is what is giving us like so much cargo. And the key, and then for me, I love them because look at the mass, only 5. You see, they're worth 9,000, right? So they're not cheap; they're really expensive. But one of the things they do is they boost your cargo, they boost the amount of shielded cargo you have. And to get them, all you have to do is come here to see this guy. And they're not locked behind anything. You don't have any additional requirements. You don't need to be a certain level. As soon as you can afford them, you can put them on your ship. Now, I am in agreement that you shouldn't just be able to start the game, go loot one station someplace, grab a bunch of gear, come back and then sell it, and then all of a sudden walk out of the den with an OP ship. Because one, that's just too easy, and then it does kind of like, whoa, that was very quick, very fast, and you didn't really have to work for it. So, and that is why I look to see if I can find, economy mods that work. But most of the economy mods that I've tried to use, I can't get behind them, and I can't support what they do. Now, I am using a Spacefaring Economy mod because it doesn't nerf the prices and the resale price or the sell back price for your spacesuits. The problem that I had with it, if you made the sellback price 1/4 of what it normally would be, and we can talk about that another time, but real quick, just an example. If I have a suit that I can sell back for $1,300K, if you cut the price in half or possibly a quarter, I think I'm okay with that. So if the cheapest suit that I'm going to sell back is $800 and you cut it to $200, so that is going to be the cheapest suit I sell back, that is fine. But what I found with some of these other economy mods is what they were doing is that I was selling suits back for 18 credits, 45 credits. And then I couldn't get behind that. I could not get behind that at all because that type of reduction made absolute no sense. And it basically, it wrecks the immersion. If I'm selling a suit that I just stole off a dead body and you're only going to give me 200 credits for it, okay, yeah, all right, it's not that great of a suit anyway. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But if you're only going to give me 18 credits, something's wrong. And so I could back you, and then because I like some of the other changes it would make, just not that. It nerfed the price of the suits way too much for it to just even make sense. So yeah, I just couldn't get behind those. And so I can understand if any argument that says, well, these are cheaty, they're too cheaty. I'm a loot person, right? That's what I do. When I play this game, I go out and I just start looting like there's no tomorrow. I don't like to leave anything of value behind. So if it's lootable, I'm pretty much going to try to take it. In the settings, I set so that I can access my ship cargo from anywhere. I will take the hit just so I can continue looting when I'm over encumbered and I can just store it on my ship still. In Fallout, they have a dimension box, a box of holding that's, like basically a dimensional storage box that you carry around that you can put loot in. And I do that so that I can keep looting. So no, you cannot make any argument that I will agree with or will even accept to not loot. That's just the way I do it. It's, and then but that is, it's my playthrough. It's my game. You know what I'm saying? So I can play it the way I want to, and the way I want to play it is I want to loot, and I want to loot as much as possible, even to the point where I'm running around, and my ship cargo hold has over 12,000 kilos of just junk in it, right? Resources, all kinds of stuff. So here, and then, like I said, so it's not locked behind anything. The only thing is locked behind is that you need 9,000, and then the actual plate that it has to sit on is also worth 9,000. So each one of these is 18,000 credits. So to get it set up like that, you have to have a significant amount of money to do so. All right. And yes, the argument can be made that, well, you can just go out and do this and do this and do this, and now all of a sudden you got a ton of money. Yeah, true. But the whole point is, if you can find a economy overhaul mod that doesn't nerf the price of suits and everything so far down that it just doesn't make sense, then yeah, I'm all for it. I will accept, because yeah, I do want to work for it a little bit. But once I have the cash and can afford it, I should be able to do it. Especially this. This doesn't require any, this shouldn't require any special skills. So yeah, you can't convince me of that. All right. So here we are. This is what we got. As long as we have a flat surface where we can put the plate down and then put this on top of the plate, we are good to go. So I'm going to leave that. As a matter of fact, actually, let me go back in here real quick. I am going to do one thing. I'm going to highlight all of that, and then I'm going to change this color. Nope. We're going to leave that one black. And then we're going to change this color. Yeah. And then boom. And then yeah, we're going to leave it. Doesn't cost any money to change the color of your ship. Okay. Thank you. And then so I like to purchase a vehicle. So I don't have a vehicle. That's probably why I didn't have one. And we're going to purchase. Okay. And then we're going to change it to the hammer. And then we're not going to do anything much else. That's it. All right. See, when it said I'd like to view, so it switched and changed to I like to view my vehicles. That was my indicator that I actually do have a vehicle now. I didn't have one before. Hand of a Starborn. Wow. So now these, we're going to make 5 of these. And then bring them with us. And a lot of these additional things like Goopy Chunk, Hand of a Starborn, Hellish Chunk, Skull of Your Enemy, and Xenomorphic Gland. Those are all added by Gorefield. And then the den under new management is this here. And you can see, like, if I take this and take this, let me go see if he has any money. I should have just checked to see if he has any money. But if I have contraband, I can store that here.
How was there something you needed?
Oh, hey, deliver.
Thank you. Did you have any trouble en route?
No trouble. It was smooth sailing.
Good. Very good. Here's your pay, and your continued discretion would be appreciated.
You got it. You got it. And the 9K was very appreciated.
Anything I can do?
Yeah.
By all means.
Let me see if you got any money. He's got 13K, which tells me he's not gonna be able to buy everything. How much you got? Can you buy one? We'll give you a discount just because we like you. All right, now we're gonna come over here, and I want to check something, and I am very disappointed. I am very, very disappointed. I was looking for a Nomad spacesuit. And Trackers Alliance is where you're supposed to go to get it. And the fact that he doesn't have any just hurts my heart. All right. Ooh. This one has some potential there. What's the price? 15K. I can use the what's the name? Oh, a superior. Suppressor already. Armor piercing rounds. Recon scope. I don't like the recon scope, but I don't mind it either. Yeah, I like tombstones and I don't like tombstones. I don't mind them, but I like them because they're usually automatic weapons. So we're going to take that. That gives him 19, so we can go back and sell him. What do you got? There we go. All right. Okay, so, and then,
surprising, isn't it? Out here on the
hold on a sec. We're going to take that out of there, yes. And then put all that in here. Contraband. And then see, the next time we come out here, we can check it out. So that is called the Den under new management. And oh, you can't. Let me just make sure I got this the last time I was here.
Hands down,
And I did.
the best pilot in this dump.
Yeah, whatever, bro. Whatever. All right. So, all right, let's head on over. All right, so we did that. Let's go ahead and now let me go show you what I was alluding to before. We're going to head to Gargarin. Okay. See the crazy speeds we get up to? And that's because of all the robot stuff that we got from Ramtech. All right, so let's get in here. Got new data here. All right, let's pull out of here. Wait, whoa. What do you got? You got a ship and hostile faction installation. What's that ship? Do we want to check it out real quick on our way over to Gargarin? See what mischief we can get into?
Excuse me, do you have time to answer a short survey?
Oh, goodness. Is that really what it is?
Thank you for answering the hail. As I mentioned, it's a very short survey. You'll need to board our ship and take it in person, however.
All right.
Excellent. While on board, please abide by all UC laws for space travel. And thank you on behalf of SSNN for your participation.
I'm going to go kill some people. Where is it? All right. So that was the ship. They do. Oh, Star Station. Nope. Where's the ship? There. All right, we gotta get close enough. See our top speed there? 300. All right. So real quick, just to show you, because I'm gonna show you when we get off. Look at our reactor, 91. Shields, 53K. You know, closer to 54. Our cargo max capacity is 174K. Okay. We're going to board. And before we actually talk to them, we're going to take another look. Look at our cargo capacity. We're almost at it. So 11,635 when we're off the ship. The shield and reactor numbers don't change because they're the ship. The cargo capacity changes when you get off, and that really is annoying. So that means, like, if I'm running around, I can't loot and then put the loot on the ship from, because the ship technically is already almost full. So it's kind of like once I get on the ship, then I can add and take it way over, right? Because it says it has 174K, and that's not really true. And that kind of sucks, right? So that's a problem, an issue with the mod.
Yes?
I didn't mean to jump down on you, citizen. And I can't take that. Is it up here?
Yes. What?
I think the reporter's the one.
Thank you for your cooperation. Do you consent to this survey being recorded?
Yeah, let's do it.
Great. As our comms person mentioned, this is a very short survey. There's a 4-part quiz, followed by 2 survey questions regarding our news coverage at SSNN. So, if you're ready, I'll begin.
I'm ready.
All right, then let's proceed. Question 1. What year did the Colony War end? 2249, 2309, or 2311?
09.
Okay. Question 2. Co's Day honors Solomon Ko, the founder of what city? Aquila City, Neon, or Sedonia?
Aquila.
I see. Question 3. The Red Mile obstacle course takes place on what star system? Archimedes,
I was going to say
Vega
Parima.
Adrasti, or Purima?
Parima.
I see. Question 4. Neuroarms were created by what company?
Ryujin.
Ronin,
Whoa. What the heck? You okay? All right.
All right, then let's proceed. Question 4. The term spacer refers to which of the following? A person born on a spaceship, a space pirate, or a person who spaced out?
Can we say all 3? Did you see this? Ryujin.
Noted. Now, let's move on to the survey portion of the questionnaire. First, how often do you watch SSNN?
Never. Rarely.
Lastly, in one word, how would you rate our programming overall?
Poor.
Now, let's add up your score, shall we? You answered 3 out of 4 questions correctly. Very impressive.
We got the year wrong.
We'll add your score to the rest of the group and bring the results to our editorial team.
Either that or
And by the looks
it
of
was
it,
looking for
we need
the
to
answer for
provide
Spacer
smarter coverage if
instead
we
of
want
the
to
Ryujin
satisfy
one.
well-informed citizens like yourself. In any case, thank you for participating in our survey. Please enjoy this complimentary food item as compensation for your time.
Okay. Thank you. My crew will enjoy that. Yes, because part of spacefaring economy, you're now required to feed your crew. Or is that part of peak performance? I forget which one. Also, you are now, with your license, you are now required to pay for your license. So, we will see how that works out in a little bit. Okay, I'm lost. Okay. Fill in all open slots in every layer to open the lock. What am I opening a lock for? Are you kidding me? What's locked? Oh. Unlock controls. Seriously? That might be... Okay, so this is a character that all this stuff was done before I added in you know, the spacefaring economy, real fuel, and all that stuff. So it could really, you know, this could be when you go find a derelict ship, right? Because this was a derelict ship. Hence the name derelict UC, whatever it is. And so we had to do that. But you can see our top speed is 305. Okay, so next we want, all right, so we want to go to Gagarin. All right, here we go. Alpha Centauri and Gagarin landing. Hello, there it is. Okay, we'll say hello. Did you change the name? See, and then here's the other thing, just of note. So look at the fuel consumption there. 1.916 fuel. It says we're going to do that. So one thing you'll see is once we actually grav jump to the system, up in the upper right hand corner, it will flash. I wish it would stay up a little longer, but it will flash. Used 119 fuel.
Be advised, you are entering United Colonies space. Please maintain course and prepare to be scanned. And we are done.
All right, thank you. So let's go back and let's actually look at our ship. Our capacity is about 180. I'm going to say that what it showed on the screen might be way more accurate than what the thing was telling us that it was going to take. So that is my biggest knock against the Real Fuel mod, is it is wildly inaccurate. And it's taken me a very long time to accept just how inaccurate it's going to be. Because if you tell me basically 2 units, but then it took 120 units, that's not 10%, 15, 25% off. You know what I'm saying? That is, you know, way off. So, yeah, no. But the way around that is ignore the calculation, which I hate doing. The analyst part of me truly hates doing that. And just making sure you have fuel in your hold. Okay? All right, so we are here. We want to land, you know, which, I mean, you could have just let us land right after you scanned us, right? Now, with Darkstar Astrodynamics, there was no person here. And then we could have, and I could have shown you this at basically in Jameson. I could have showed you most of this on Jameson, Paradiso. But what I wanted to show, oh God, this trash thing. This is like something is, I don't know what that's from, but it follows you around. Oh, and look, did we just drop an orange juice? Seriously? Okay, so Darkstar Game Overhaul moves your DSA guys, technicians, away from where they were before. So it removes the one at the den. And then what it does is it puts, you got your Darkstar information, your Darkstar services, and then your shipbuilding terminal. Now, your shipbuilding terminal allows you to build enhanced ships, buy ships, and then you have your vehicle menu. So it's doing kind of the same thing as that ship technician is doing, without the need, except the ship technician doesn't sell ships. So this will have, has 19 ships, and then so it will have its share of ships for sale, and it's kind of, the typical ones that everybody's gonna have. I kind of really like this one, and at some point I wouldn't mind actually getting something like this and basically modifying it a little bit more than what's here, right? But that'll be at some point later and later. You got the Mako, you got the Vanquisher, Watchdog, there's a Starhawk, which there's actually multiple variations of this ship, I believe, in the game. The Autobahn. So you have that, and then the game is kind of glitching right now. So what I'm gonna do is quick save real quick so that we have a spot to go.
Welcome to Gagarin.
You see what's going on right there?
Repairs?
It's not liking something that's going on here, and it could be that our vehicle is causing issues. And the reason I say our vehicle is causing issues is because ever since we did the new game path, right? Not new game, the Unity, right? So now that we have we have that, what happens is when you land, the vehicle is trying to spawn, but it spawns a significant distance away from your ship. And then I'm thinking one of the things that could be possibly happening here is that it's still trying to spawn, but it's clipping and like I think it's trying to spawn over there somewhere, and that's causing issues. It could be Gagarin altogether, which really sucks because that interferes with what I'm trying to show you. I think I just heard it finally land.
Those jobs aren't coming back.
All right, hold on. I'm going to send him back, by the way.
Arcanite and
Hey,
tutorial
Armament,
mills are dedicated
you can
to
return
Gagarin.
to your post.
We were just hoping Gagarin could show the same dedication in return.
I'm not closing off the city every time.
See
you
how
want to
slow
run a tour group through here.
it's all doing?
Our investor visits are the key to making Gagarin
So,
a place
right
that
now,
lives
and then I'm going to
again. A
go
place
to
where
first
people
person.
want to live again.
Just to
People are living here just fine.
give
Now,
it less to
If you
render.
excuse me, I have security work to
All
get
right,
back.
so
Watch your step. It's easy to take a sudden trip around here.
yeah, this is really just awful. I might get to the point where I just save it and then reload. And what I mean by it is just yeah, no, this is just too much. I can't do it. I can't deal with that. That's just awful. All right, bear with me one sec. All right, we'll see. We'll see if this helps out at all. If you ask me what might have been causing that, I think it might have been the Darkstar, the kiosk. Once we went in there and started looking at all the ships, that might have actually started just messing with the stability and just too many things loaded at once. All right, so we're gonna come over here.
Security is
Secu-
usually good about keeping out strays,
Now,
but keep your
she-
eyes open at night for dust devils and prom wings, okay?
She is here because we have the Jessamine for All mod, right? So normally you would meet her on the key when you started after starting the Crimson Fleet quest line. But
Not on my calendar.
if
Is
you
this Arcmite related?
bring her
I want Gagarin to make money
or
from
you
our friends.
recruit her and then don't side with the
Anything I can
Crimson
help you
Fleet
with?
in the end, she won't stay with you. So this is kind of a way to, if you recruit her before and then she's with you when you do go do Crimson Fleet, we're hoping that she will stay with you, even if you don't side with Crimson Fleet.
Got anything
And
to
I have
offer?
my
Trade authorities
ideas on that.
Kiosk right here for you.
My views on that anyway. So this guy, you can see here, is now Darkstar Starborn Services.
Need
So
some work done?
we can say, okay, I like to view and modify my ships.
Okay, no problem.
I think you probably noticed that the price was different too. So this is my ship, right? And then now we're going to go into ship building. And then I'm going to come over here and we're going to look, and you can see that says DSA XDC. So it says all the typical stuff. Now I'm going to come over here, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to come on over to cargo. Do you notice right now I don't have those options? Is that very interesting or what? You know, I got, you know, different landing bays. I got a couple of weapons here. Structural, I got, you know, all kinds of stuff. Habs, I got all kinds of stuff I can you know, try to choose from. You know, 3x3, 3x2s. Everything under the, you know, a cross passage if we want it. Right. The thing that I don't have is, we come here, fuel tanks. Where's the Darkstar fuel? The plate, right? And the problem there is we don't have, our character isn't high enough yet to even have that show for them. So we don't get that option. And then we don't even have a cargo option here. And that is what Darkstar Game Overhaul takes away from your character. So imagine if I didn't put Darkstar Astrodynamics on. Imagine I didn't have the recycler. And then so my ship right now, say I open up this save. All right. So I put Darkstar Game Overhaul on, and then I read, and it says, hey, it incorporates Darkstar Astrodynamics, Darkstar Darkstar Astrodynamics, and Darkstar, the other one. I can't remember what the name of it is, because I don't even worry about that one because I'm fine with the changes or whatever it does there. And then it says also we incorporate the legendary Mod Recycler. And you're like, oh, okay, all right. And that's what I did. And then I opened a save like this that had a vehicle similar to this. But when I opened it, all of a sudden my ship was way over encumbered, and all these modules, they were gone. They were gone because they no longer existed in the game. Not that they, you know, or if they did exist, which they didn't, but if they did, I couldn't have them on my ship anyway because it was locked, right? But they don't exist in the game because these are DSA modules, and not the Darkstar Game Overhaul modules. So they were all gone. And then when so then I got to go find this guy, figure out where he is. And the first time I land, I couldn't remember where Paradiso was. So I was like, I'm screwed. I can't remember where Paradiso is. I know that's the main one, but I know there's one on Gagarin. And then so I land, and I'm running all around the flight, you know, the thing, and it never occurred to me to go look in the town at the little thing there. So, and then there he was. So, yeah. So I lost all my extra cargo. And then the problem is, it is OP. It is cheaty. Because you cannot put this much cargo on a ship without weighing it down majorly. So yeah, I understood that. I said, but I paid my money for the cargo, right? The money that I earned, I paid that. And then my biggest drawback and my biggest knock against it was, I just paid you $10 to make my game worse. To give me less than what I had before. You didn't enhance my game. You didn't improve it. You didn't make it any better. In my eyes, you made my game worse. You broke my game and I paid you money to do so. So that's why, for me, I continue to use Darkstar Astrodynamics. And I put it at the very bottom of my load order so that it will not be overridden by Darkstar Game Overhaul, and that it will allow me to at least keep what I had before. And the biggest, like I said, the biggest thing for me was I paid you money to make my game worse, to have less than what I did before. And that's a no-no. That is, I can't abide by that at all. So that is why. Yeah, you can see when we try to go in and modify stuff, it's not liking it. When we go into the ship menu, it's not liking that at all.
I've got applications in at
Okay, so that is why we continue to use Darkstar Astrodynamics. Or at least, okay. What is this? Let's get you assigned somewhere. Why are you not assigned? Derelict. Confirm. Who's not assigned? You're not assigned? God dang it. I'm sure these guys are just running around, not just doing anything. They should. Okay. Well, Rosie. All right. Is that the last of them? I don't think we have all of them. There's 12 of them. And so, all right. Oh, shoot. What are you doing, man? They were about to just jump ship and leave me. Seriously? Seriously? Guys. Maybe that was the issue. Okay. So, while we're here, we're going to do two things real quick here. One is we're going to look for our what's the name? All right, let's just scan these real quick. There's my car. Actually, that's surprisingly close. Kind of. Holy cow. All right. Okay, so our ship, our vehicle is down there. You see what I'm saying? That is awful. Okay, so we're not gonna actually take our ship. We're gonna do something kind of fun. So over here, because of RN Genesis is the mod, the name of the mod that we got that basically breaks your game. Is like one of the worst mods. The premise of it is excellent. The execution, no. So I got this to see if I could fix the game that it broke, right? The save that it broke. And then what it does is it puts you it's an alternate start mod, and then the premise behind it is you make a bunch of selections, right? And then it randomly puts you somewhere, right? And with a vocation and everything, and depending on your selections. So the only two things I could get to work, and the only one consistently that would work, was the neon chef, right? So a chef on neon. So I actually had two characters that it would put me on neon, no money, no ship, no artifact, right? And so you would have to make money. And then so with the character, I made up to like 70, 80 grand, because you can do that on neon without actually having to leave the planet. You can make that much there. And then I go to Stroud Eklund and I look at their database to try to buy a ship. No ships. I go to the ship technician, right? As a matter of fact, real quick here, I'm going to show you what. So you come over here to the ship technician. And you say,
I can help you with?
yeah.
Got anything you need to offload? Trade Authority is always buying.
Yeah, let's see what ships you have for sale.
I'm sure you can find something you like.
Now, of course, this could mess up our game, but we're only going to show a couple. So you can go, ooh, crossbow, really? Wow. All right. So you can come up and you can buy a ship, right? So there's a database of ships, and each vendor in the game is loaded with a certain number of ships, right? And certain ships. And then so depending on where you are and what technician you're talking to, that's the selection of ships you have to choose from. Well, this mod actually breaks the database so that any ship technician you're trying to talk to, well, I won't say that for sure, but any place you go to that would normally be able to sell you a ship now has no ships, completely empty. So no way for you to buy a ship. So of the three places that I went to on Neon, none of the three had a ship for sale. It wasn't that they were out, priced so that I couldn't get one, just they were none available. So I said, oh, well, let me download this mod. Settle Systems Shuttle Service. It's 200 credits, so it's a $2 mod, right? And I said, okay, that means, okay, so if I can't find a ship on Neon, maybe I can go to, say, Jameson, or maybe I can go, somewhere else, and maybe there'll be a ship there. The way this works, there's two ways, and somehow that mod has broken the save file so that it doesn't work either way. So right now the settings, as you saw, are just the standard normal default settings. So this is how it works. We could go in and say, okay, I want to pick a destination. We want to go to Paradiso. We can purchase the ticket for 500 credits. Wait for your shuttle to land. That does not even happen. That little piece right there won't even happen in the save file that's broken by that mod. And then what's going to happen is, look at this. I think because the database is broken for ships, that this it can't spawn, it can't work, because this ship isn't in the game, because I don't think any active ships are. Okay, so then we get here, and you see it even has a quest marker, right? So come on, load yourself up. It is the coolest thing ever. In truth, this is the coolest thing ever, because you just come on in here, say, hey, yeah, I'm going to just board the ship, settle.
Nice ride.
Yeah, thanks, man. So he's even saying nice ride for your ship, and I can take any free seat. I can buy food and drink. This is stealing, so I won't mess with that. I'm Look, storage. I don't think this is even, but it's cool. So if I want, all I got to do is I can come right over here, right? Take any seat. I think you have to take a seat before it will go. Now we're going. Watch this. Oh, I moved. But I can stand and walk around now that we're going. Look at us. We're taking off. It only shows just a little bit. It doesn't show you all of it, but it shows you a little bit. We're in space now. This is the coolest thing. And then it will tell you when you arrive. So we can sit. And just look out the window. We're supposed to be moving. See, we're moving over on that side. Oh, now we're moving. All right. Now we're here. Okay. So it's telling us, exit the shuttle when ready. You may stay on board as long as you like. So now we can get up. Run over here.
Nice day now.
And then we can leave the ship. And there we are. Look, the shuttle service. Now watch what's going to happen here, though. Where are we? No, where we are. This is not landing. Look for a ship that's landing. That's our ship, I think. Yep. Okay, so down the ramp. See, our ship just follows suit. It'll follow us to our destination. So it's not like we just left our ship behind. There it is. It just landed. And then now we're in Paradiso. So over here, though, and this is why I call it the main hub, because there's a camp. And then I'm going to go back to first person. This doesn't really help a lot, but it should help us identify where that camp is. There it is. And here's our Darkstar Game Overhaul camp. So now, what it does for you is, you see here, you got armor output, codex output, weapon output, right? And then I don't really use this, but then you have, we can consume that. Those are empty. Where's our thing? So you have a codex processing thing. You have your industrial workbench, right? You have your spacesuit workbench, right? So you still have your regular stuff here. And then you have your codex processing thing. So if I wanted to, let me see, transfer weapons and armor, right? So if we had something that we felt like, and it works the same way, if we had something like this guy here, right? I'm not going to, because he's worth 44k. So if I'm either, I can use it or I'm gonna sell it. I ain't gonna put it in there. But, and then we don't actually, you see, we're limited as to what we can put in there, right? And then once we put that in there, then it's gonna produce a codex and everything like that. And then it's just a little bit more tedious and strenuous, in truth, to go through the process and get the mod back, right? Or get the mod so that you can use it and put it on your equipment. I have not tried to go through the entire process, so I can't tell you if it doesn't seem, so that's all I can say. It doesn't seem intuitive or all that easy. So again, here's your pharmaceutical lab, your cooking station. So it makes it so that I am not motivated to actually do it, right? I'm like, okay, you just made something that I found very easy and simple to do, way more complex, and to the point where it's like, all right, you just added a bunch of tedium to my game. Okay. And then you got these things that in truth, I don't really notice any difference. And then you got this right there, and then fortunately though, and this is pretty nice that they do this for you. So you got the rig, you got the workbench rig, so you got the quantum rigs, right, sitting there that he's nice enough to at least give it to you. And there's the empty codex, right? Because we didn't go to a kiosk and buy them. So and these are needed. Harnesses are needed as well. We got that, and then the pipe wrench. So he is nice to give you like some starter stuff, right? Starter stuff to at least let you get started. Yeah, you know what I meant. So again, it gets way more complicated. You don't have everything available to you because so it takes that premise, and then I remember, and it's kind of funny because when I watch like Carnage play this game, the one biggest thing that he was very annoyed by is, hey, if I got the money to go buy a modification for my ship, then I should be able to buy it. Don't lock it behind all this other stuff. And that's what I feel like this does also. So basically, it locks it behind a whole bunch of rigmarole, whole bunch of hoops, hoops that you got to jump through. And like I said, it's something you actually paid money to, like I said, complicate your game. Not make your game better. It didn't enhance my game. It complicated it now. And then it took things away that I already had that were free. You took away the stuff I had for free. So no, we are not in agreement, and we are not happy with that. So I was like, yeah, okay, no. And then it dawned on me right off the bat. It's like, okay, in the reading, it says it's suggested that you not use Astrodynamics and Recycler with it, since they already incorporate those two. So it's not recommended to use them, but it didn't say that you have to take it off. But they couldn't guarantee how they would work together. So I went in and said, okay, well, I'm going to take a look. I'm going to see how they fit together and determine whether I need to get rid of them or if I can keep them in my game. And still be able to do the things that I want to do. And yeah, it really did just come down to, it's like, okay, yeah, no, this works. And that is why. Yeah, I still forgot to equip that. You see this right here? That's weird. Okay. And I'm crouching because I'm doing the Fallout way to get to my suit. Okay. So luckily we haven't been on.
Priorities of staff notify or anything else is not performing to your standards.
Roger that. Thank you. So that right there, and I hope that explains it. And I hope that really shows what I'm talking about. It's like the additional hoops and things that you have to jump through to use this to get the same effects and the same things, right? So legendary recycler, it's just easier to use that, and then you can immediately put it on your gear, right? Instead of having to wait. and go through all the kinds of things you got to go through to do so. The Darkstar Game Overhaul itself, and using Darkstar Astrodynamics, it's more a preference thing too, right? It's like, well, I don't want to do all that just in order to be able to put that cargo on my ship, right? And then we couldn't see. Oh wait, we might have been able to see. Hold on, my bad. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm using this again. I'm going to do this, but we're doing this at our own risk. Okay. So we're going to come back here. There is a over here shipbuilding terminal. Okay. So we're going to build enhanced ships. So this is our ship. All right. So we're going to go into shipbuilder. I'm going to go in here. And then you can see we have a much bigger selection of fuel tanks. But what is grayed out? The plate. And you see it's a much different plate than the one that we were using. See, so they nerfed the plate. Because the one that we're using, right, allows you to, it's 60 fuel. But you see what you need? You need Astrodynamics 2 and then Payloads 3 in order to put this on your ship. So let's go to equipment. So equipment that you could have before, you see how it's locked behind Astrodynamics, Astrophysics, and Shield Systems, right? And then over here, you see we do have a ton of cargo stuff available. But when we come down here, this is also nerfed. And I don't want to say, well, I don't want to say it's nerfed, because if I'm not mistaken, there is a 1000 variation of it. I just don't think it's showing. I don't know why it's not showing, because it should show, right? It's just going to show down here. But you can see this one is Payloads 3 and Astrodynamics 2. So basically the same. So it's locked behind that now. So imagine, like I said, this is our ship, and then we install the mod, and then we open it up, and all of that stuff is gone, right? All the cargo stuff, all the plates are gone. And then now when we finally make it to Paradiso or make it to Gagarin, thinking we can add it back, we can't. We can't. Because you need to get the Payloads 3. Okay. I understand. Now, the problem with that is this. I will never make it to Payloads 3. I probably won't make... Okay, so payloads, I need 10 grav jumps with 75% or more of maximum cargo capacity. If we had checked when we first started playing, we probably would have noticed I was already at 8 out of 10. And that I've been sitting at 8 out of 10 ever since I did Ramtech. So yes, I did it to myself. But now that I've Ramtech, right? Remember what our cargo capacity is. 174K, not 11K. So I have to be at 75% of 174K. We're never going to get there. So I kind of did it to myself. I could probably see if I can reassign the payloads bot, and then, but I think I would have to get rid of other bots as well in order to get back to the point where I can eventually, start building up the payload skill. But right now, we're never going to get to 2, and then we're definitely not getting to 3. Because once you get to 2, what's 2 going to do for you? 2 is going to give you 60% more capacity. So I have a character that when I go in and look at their payload, they have 400K of payload because of the bots. So it's like, God dang it. You know what I mean? But again, we did the RAM tech before the Darkstar Game Overhaul ever came out. You see what I'm saying? So we did the RAM tech. That did all of his boosts for us, and we're cruising. We're like, all right, yes, fine, we can deal with this. We just got to figure out how to get around the whole fact that it's glitched, and we only have that major, huge cargo when we're actually on the ship. The problem is, where are you when you do the grav jumps? You're on the ship. So yeah. So it's like, okay, well, I can remove the RAM tech stuff, I guess. But why should we have to? So, again, like I said, I paid $10 to have less of what I had before, and then to have it locked behind a bunch of hoops that I got to jump through. And unfortunately, some of these, for like all of my characters, because I think all my characters at this point have been, most of them, not all of them, right? Have gone through and did the RAM tech part. So they're all with this disproportionate cargo number while they're on the ship compared to when they're off the ship. And again, that makes that payload thing. And if I didn't already have it up there before I did RAM tech, then it's not doing much good right now. So that's that's my problem. Those are my problems with Darkstar Game Overhaul. So that it isn't about, like I said, someone asked me, so you're using them both or all three? And it's like, well, I kind of have to if I want to play the game the way I want to play the game, not the way, and again, I'm not all about you dictating to me how I should play the game. That isn't, that's not, I'm not about that. I'm not about that life at all. So you cannot dictate to me how I'm going to play my game compared to, or, because you think I should play it that way. I do want to set one setting. So I want to make sure that I have it set. Where is it? I don't remember where it is now. And I would tell you guys if I could remember what it's called. And yeah, we can't even find it anymore now. Okay, where is it? Gosh dang it. Does this sit feature function for, instead of making you sit, you just can, to add a ship to your fleet, you can tell it, we want to, the name of it is sit to add to fleet. There it is. Add spaceship to fleet. Stay up. So we want to enable that so the player can stay up. It's experimental, right? The problem is if you try it on a ship that the game isn't expecting, then you could find yourself in trouble. So we're gonna do that, and then, hey Rosie. And then Oh, well, let's do this first then. I didn't know I didn't read it. Okay. Loyal to your crew? I get it. But screw that. Beg, borrow, steal. Kill to get to the Denibola 1B. There's a secret outpost we're trying to crack. Once in a lifetime opportunity. You will regret it for the rest of your life if you don't get your butt over here. Alright, so we did that. Alright, so we read it. Let's set a course. It says that it's only going to take 3 fuel. 363. I would love, and I think there is a that we can maneuver a little bit before they hit us with the bolts. And you see that? That was cheaty. Okay, so I mean my ship is OP, but that was cheaty because he was dead to rights. He should have been dead. So I think there is a mod that allows you to delay Watchtower, and I actually strongly believe delaying Watchtower is needed. Oh, I'm floating. Why am I floating? Because there's 2 of me. That's not okay. Of the, I want to say 7, 8, 9 times that I've been through this is the first time I've seen this. Can I loot him? I think we're going to be stuck here. I literally do. I think we might have to reload. 1, we can't get out of this. 2, this guy was supposed to run off. Okay, there he is. He's coming. All right. We had the same thing happen when we were doing a different one.
Here's a little shorter, I think.
Something's
I
busted.
don't know, hard to tell. But I'm fairly sure you're you. And it looks like I found you not a moment too late. But don't worry. These guys, they...
All right. You go do your thing, man.
They'll be enemy once you can walk. Now, let's get you out of...
Okay, so be a minute, and then we can go and board the ship. Now, this might break our game. Well, it's not gonna break our game, but it'll break this game, this save file. This is unusual. It shouldn't be floating around in here. And let's see. All right. So, Shade Submersive Looter allows you to do that, as opposed to, I don't know what Bethesda really was trying to do. Why it was limiting just how much loot you were. Well, I guess I kind of understand, and I actually, I do understand, and it makes it kind of ironic in the sense that one of the things we complain about the most is basically how easy it is to get a fortune because of the prices of the spacesuits and everything like that. But all right, and then before on the next one, I will before I take anything off of them or use that magic button. See, there's no one in there now. This is where they were holding us, right here. All right. I'm not sure why there's no evidence. Why yet, but It's not a big deal. All right, so let's get this going. All right, so that empty. Can we stop, please? That. All right, so you can see this is what Bethesda and the original game wanted you to take from this guy. So, ironically, we complain about how easy it is to get rich off all the loot that we're getting. But the problem is, well, that's because we are doing stuff to mod the game to give us more loot than was intended, therefore allowing us to become rich real quick and being able to mod the crap out of our ships. And it's funny, if you just take that, then you don't get this, right? And this is where the money is, right here in that spacesuit. So the weapons are worth a little bit, but they're not worth so much. And then what are you going to do with, what are you usually doing with the weapons? Well, I'm going to try to use them. So I'm getting better, but I'm getting better because I'm using the weapons I'm collecting instead of taking, like this one is worth 10K. So we can sell it for about 2. Now, in truth, it's worth about 10K. So if I can sell it for 10% of that, or even just 5%. If you tell me I could sell it for 5% of 10K, right? What, 500? I'm not scoffing at you. I'm not mad at you on that one. But if you nerf it down to 135 bucks or 80, you know, then yeah, we got a major problem, because that makes absolutely no sense. But you're doing it to make up for something that we did to the game, not necessarily because the game was just broken. And then we blame the game and say that the game was broken because, you know, now we've got these things added, because right from the beginning of the game, when it first came out, I think on day 2, I learned about this gameplay this game tweaks thing that you could do, where you could create basically a notepad, you know, go into Notepad, create a file. It's basically like an INI file. You reference that in your INI file so that when you play the game, it automatically just loads in. And then you can put all the code you want right in that one file. And you can change the distance for looting, the distance for boarding ships. You can change the amount of XP you get for everything that you do in the game. And so all of a sudden, you know, and then you can put in a line that says, you know, drop all, that it'll drop all the loot, so that I don't even have to do that. It'll just automatically do that. And then so right from the beginning, we decided, no, Bethesda, we want all the loots. But then we're going to give you a hard time and say your economy's messed up, because now, since we decided we want all the loots, we can get rich too quick. And it's like, well, maybe that's why we didn't give you all the loot to start, right? I'm not trying to say, hey, that, you know, but I'm saying sometimes there's, you know, it's like there's a reason for stuff, right? A reason why you do it one way or do it a particular way, instead of just saying, yeah, let's just give them all the loots. It's like, no, sir, we can't give them all the loots, because if we do, then guess what? It's going to be way too easy, way too quick for them to get their ships and gear up to being OP. So we got to trickle it out to them, you know, in a controlled fashion, so that they have to actually work for it and find it. And, you know, and it has to be more random and has to be, you know, sparse. you know. And then so it is kind of a I don't want to say a quandrum or anything like that. I want to say it is kind of like just like kind of a, I don't want to say an oxymoron either, but it's kind of like we say, well, the economy's messed up. Yeah, but it's messed up. It might not have been the best thing anyway going to the start, so I'm not going to make an argument that it was great or even nice or fun or fine. I'm going to say, yeah, it might have been, but it's more messed up based on all the stuff that we added to the game. So now you can do so much more. Can you just stop moving around, please? There you go. So we didn't do anything to help it out. So it's kind of like, yeah, well, we're complaining about something of our own doing, of our own making. And so I don't know that we have a leg to stand on there. So for me, it's like, okay, so with all that, I'm fine with some changes within reason. But then again, like I said, I'm fine with all right, so what we're going to do is we're going to come over here. We're going to take that gun. Not sure why it's there. Then we're going to go add to fleet. Ship added to your fleet. So then we're going to come here and just see. And number 17, there it is, unknown vessel. All right, then we're going to come back and then we're going to leave the ship. And then we can get out right through here. Generally, though, when I add a ship to a fleet, it should give you gravity. Well, if I sat in the seat, I would have got the gravity back. But since I didn't sit in the seat, that's probably why we didn't get the gravity back. All right, let's get this jumpy going right here. See, we're going so fast, I can't even get it straight. Now, this is going to be an issue. Because the key was... Hold on a sec. Alright. The key thing was, so you see how we took one ship out, and then he took out the other and disabled this one for us. So you can, this is what I'm talking about right here. So that's not okay. We didn't sit down in the seat, so don't mess with my settings here on my ship, since we didn't have to do that. So where were we headed? Oh, we were headed towards, see, look at that. I don't like when it does that, to tell you the truth. There we go. So we were going here. All right. So, like I said, so the whole economy thing, that was, I think that was kind of problematic, and it was of our own doing with some of the things that we added to the game. Now, Darkstar Overhaul, Game Overhaul. The benefits, and this is why I don't take it out and haven't stopped using it. So we come out here, and then
This here is our find, so you can get the hell out or we'll kill you. The lair of the mantis is ours.
all right, you see he's level 42, which is fine. All right, so this is our, he's 43, but you can see there's no one shot. You're not gonna one shot anybody. And then so the other thing too is we're gonna, now you saw the one guy run, but I don't know if he's like fully gone. All right, and then boom. All right. See, so, and this guy's level 49. I forget what level we are right now. We're 58. So they're a little bit below us. And then here's the other guy. See, he ran, but he's not completely done. And then that's the beauty of the okay, that's Gorefield for you right here. So we got the divergent skirt. All right. So all right. Got a negotiator. Now, I personally don't use them, and I really hate fighting people when they're using them, or the machine guns like the Mag Shear or the Mag Storm. So now, that is the difference between Gorefield. Gorefield puts it right, and then this one, he just went down, right? So now he has all this stuff, so we can take everything. The thing you don't want to take are these two, stump clothes and stump helmet, right? And there's a fragmented head right there. So now here's the shattering, modified, calibrated A99. Oxygenated, chilling, right? And shattering. That ain't bad, actually. And then we got this guy. See, now I'm taking all this stuff, right? Because that's what it does. But if I went there, you see now it makes the body look normal. But you can see you can take all the Gorefield stuff off that we were seeing. So to make them look that way, this is the outfit that they put on them. All right. Oh, and just to show you real quick. All right, so we come over here, go to transfer. See, so that's the head, right? The skull, the helmet, right? Here's the clothes, and there's the spacesuit. You see? So with all those equipped, you look like, so if I did that, I probably would run around looking like a skeleton right now. All right. Now, I came here not because I wanted the ship, but because I wanted to show some combat. Whoa. This is supposed to be a balanced. And then so the other thing you see. So you see we're losing oxygen. And we are over encumbered, so that makes things worse. And then since we are here, now I'm going to show you the problem that we have with the ship. Our ship is currently over encumbered. Even though when we get back on the ship, it's going to say 174. But right now, it says 11K. And we are 6 weight over. 6 kilograms over. So, and, unless and we're nowhere near getting this. So, yeah. We have way too much stuff on us. So, with the scrubbers, you see it does replenish. If we didn't have the scrubbers, it would not replenish. It would stay where it is. And for me, that was a big problem. Because I didn't like that it used the same. I didn't like that it used the same mechanic that your encumbrance and your sprinting and everything all used also. So I didn't like that it was, because it just seemed like overlap. And then one, like I said, if I'm over encumbered and I'm losing oxygen because of it, then if I sprint, it's not going to replenish like it normally would, right? Because the O2 mechanic for sprinting and over encumbrance was a temporary thing, not a permanent thing. And then now with real O2 is a permanent debuff. And then so I'm not getting the stuff back. See, that's what so Bethesda says that's all I should get from the body. But we say we should get the bounty hunter spacesuit and the skip pack. But then we're going to complain that now I'm going to get too much money from looting this guy. You can't have your cake and eat it too. So we got a pile of ashes here. So right there. Boom. Why does ashes sound so wet? And then you see now we got reinforcements in here. Now, is it reinforced? And to tell you the truth, I don't know if it's reinforcements or if it's another faction. Bedlam will sometimes bring in reinforcements, another faction, something. But as you can tell, something is over here. And we don't know what it is. Now, Darkstar will change the difficulty, right? It'll change the AI of the enemies. It will make the enemies more bullet spongy. Where, now it takes way more shots and everything to take them down. And then also, but it does make the enemies way more aggressive. They will flank you. They will charge you. They will basically try to overrun you if given the chance. So it's not even the same. It doesn't see, and that's why, like I said, you don't see that. You haven't seen me take the mod off. And it isn't simply just because, well, I paid $10 for it, I gotta play with it. That's not the case. You don't have to play with a mod just because you spent. I mean, yes, you spent $10 on it, but if it really is awful and you don't like it, and it changes too much about the game that you actually enjoy, then no, I don't recommend that you continue playing with it. As a matter of fact, at some point, if it really isn't what you thought it was going to be, or if it doesn't work for you, then you got to say, hey, this mod sucks. I don't like it. I don't like the changes it makes. But you got to be clear, and you have to actually have like legitimate gripes about what the mod does, it changes, what about it you don't like, and things like that, so that you can say, well, I want my money back. Now, I'm not saying that Bethesda's going to give you your money back, but if you have a legitimate case, right, as to why this mod doesn't work for you, then I think, at least it will be heard and considered. I have yet to just go and say, oh, I hate this, and then get my money back, right? But one of the things that I was testing earlier today, and that's why how I found out, was the shuttle service, because I was trying to fix that one mod, right? That one game file, that game save, and it wasn't working on that file. And I was like, it can't be, it cannot, you know what I mean? That file can't be that bad that, that it is messing everything up and actually breaking this mod too. And sure enough, it was. It's that bad. And I'm sitting there like, I can't believe. And then one of the things, and you probably won't be the first time, or probably the last time you hear me say this, a little knowledge can be dangerous, right? And you learn this over and over again by watching people do something that they really probably shouldn't do without knowing what the consequences are going to be. So creating that mod and making it the way it was not, was not the best thing, because now, like I said, it left me with a character that I couldn't do anything with. And then so I have a file, right? A save file with a character that is pretty much, I'm screwed. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do to repair it, right? And then I'm like, even see, look at this. He's decided, hey, the best thing I can do is just charge you and try to. But you can see how more folks came up here. So before, you would fight, whatever characters you found. But now you got reinforcements. So they will come up now. And then just standing here at this door actually isn't like the best thing for me to do. That wasn't the best thing to do. Okay. So now there's a chance for more reinforcements at some point. There's a chance now that you can see, and you see you see there's more that come up here now. So they don't wait for you to come down to them anymore. They will do what they can. Oh. So
You're doing well, Leon. Almost there. I know. Things have been difficult. The mantle of the Mantis is a heavy burden. But you can do so much good. Spacers and pirates need someone to fear. Someone to check them. To make them realize some lines cannot be crossed. You have it in you, Leon. I know you do. Stay sharp. Focused. I'm here. I'm hot. And I'm tired. So thanks, Mom. Best gift ever. The stupid code worked. The door scanned my biometric. Surprise! It's me. Then I heard Mom. I nearly had a heart attack. She's at her lair. Yeah, lair. What a freak. It's meant for the worthy. So, all I have to do is take some tests. I just want to get this over with.
now, just because we just got a bunch of folks up there doesn't necessarily mean there won't be a bunch of folks still waiting for us. Just means that a few people that might have been like laying around sleeping, got alerted to our being here, and decided to take it to us instead of waiting for us to take it to them, or waiting for us to bring it to them. So, and that's one of the things that the mod does. So, and remember, at this point, we're kind of testing it also right now to get a gauge of just, does it seem too easy? It's not too hard. right? So we've gotten past that part where we're worried about it being too hard. So the concern now is, has it gotten too easy, and do we need to bump it up a level? But every time you bump it up, you always, these guys are going to be a little bit more bullet spongy, right? It's going to take more hits. Now, someone was saying, yeah, well, think about, like, there's a mod called Star Valor, and I actually did try that. That could, you could add to it, and that could possibly reduce the bullet sponginess. Problem is, and then from my research with that, it's like those patcher type mods, right, aren't good for like late game adding, right? So if you add it in after you've already been doing it, and so these characters already have their stats, and then so it doesn't go through and repatch all the stats that you think it's going to do. And then so from what I could tell, yeah, it's not going to work for that. It'll work for like right at the beginning of the game when you're starting a game, and then it'll patch the stats so that it won't come, so that doesn't come across as so bullet spongy. All right, so this area right here, there's been times when I'll come down through here and then you get held up, right? And I've actually will get attacked from behind up here. Like there's a bunch of reinforcements that will come from here and attack me, basically flank me, so that so I have to keep trying to pay attention to like all the reinforcements when they come up, and then wonder, have I gotten everybody? Is it, is there more people down there? And remember, Bedlam is set up so there will be more, and you can see all of a sudden there's more reinforcements up down there. Sure. Number doesn't go down, does it? The goal is to see, well, not goal, but the test is to see just how far down you can go, or if I can go all the way through. Pay attention to your health, buddy. always try to get rid of the bleed, because if you're bleeding and you crouch, it causes pain, and it just makes things worse. So best thing is get rid of the bleed whenever you can. I don't think we looted everybody, but oh, you're tired of this? Well, let me end it for you. That's the other thing. You will go through a lot of ammo with this mod. That is for sure. And again, like I said, it's a combination of things that are going on here. Darkstar isn't doing all of it on its own, right? There's other mods in here that are enhancing the game. And then I could go up there and try to loot more, but I got quite a bit right here. Snake oil. Hey, let's see what this does for us. Alright. I think this is the guy that was carrying, that was crawling away.
No way. I mean, the mantis is a fairy tale. Someone to keep pirates from going off the deep end. I guess it's possible. She never talked about where she got her fortune. And man, she could handle herself anywhere. It's a lot to take in. I need him to fight me too. Oh!
Whoa. Shoot. See how it's still working? And that's the part that I like about the Tesla. So it's still working right now. Boom. That's not what I wanted. There it is. You see, so the game didn't mean for us to actually get all that gear. So there we are. And then do I have to collect it from everybody? I do not, but it's what I do. Okay, what's his name? There he is. So that and this is kind of why we keep Darkstar, right? And just haven't decided to completely just say, okay, well, because like I said, it does some things great. And then there's some things that I'm just not okay with. And that's me, and it's my prerogative to be that way. And one, because I pay for it. And again, if you pay for something, you have every right to be critical. I'm not gonna say overly critical, but yeah, you can be a tad bit overly critical. And say, no, I pay good money for this. You can't, no. Okay, so I believe it is Tyrannus. Which is T. I can't remember. Is that a Y? Is that a Y or a B? But we don't have to worry about it, because I can't remember how to spell it, to tell you the truth. Even though we've seen it probably multiple times. But since we were able to pick the lock, all we do is just walk through. And then we didn't even have to turn off the turret. All we do is just make it so it reevaluates us as friend. So what's our encumbrance? Look at that. We are way over encumbered. Our knees should be buckling. The bones in our legs should be snapping.
My sensors have detected activity. Investigate. Taking damage. Moving.
The Tesla's still working. There's a turret down here. Oh. Thought there was another turret. Well, that one was beat up. Okay. We can actually leave if we want, or we can go in. A couple more fights. Takes a full clip, take one down. Okay. Unrivaled something. Didn't pay attention. Okay. Here we go. Anything good? Here we go. Some water, sandwich. All right. The bed looks comfy. We got a Freestar Deep Seeker spacesuit back here. Okay. So you can see there's other stuff in here. So we got the Mantis cape, the Mantis outfit, the Mantis jacket. Then we have the Vagabond helmet, the skip pack, and then the Vagabond spacesuit. Okay. That's what I'm trying to get to, is that one there. I get the hammer. Okay. Then let's get this other suit. So, this one, compared to the one we have, is better, somewhat. This one, we like it, much better. And then, yeah, this one, a little much. So we will take that. We're gonna take it. I don't know that we're necessarily going to put it on just yet. I think there's still some stuff we need to do. All right. Hold on. All right, before we come back here, and start messing with that. Yep. There's more stuff in here. So, take that. So, there's a Fury Superior Mag Shot, right? This is pretty cool. They're, you know, Killer City Charter. 11K, right? That's pretty cool. All right. Pill bottle, not so cool. Just seeing if there's anything else in there. Nope. Did you pick? Dish rag. Okay. All right. So now we can come over here. We can take a look. At all the gear that we have, really. Well, we could actually just done that in our inventory. But let's just look at. All right, so that is the skip pack. So here's the Mantis jacket, the outfit, and then we do have a mechanized Mantis Vagabond suit. You see, that one's mechanized. All right. We got this helmet, and then we have the mirrored space suit, anti-space suit that we saw hanging. And then this is the reactive helmet. This is the Vagabond. And then here's the basic pack that's repulsive. So the suit that we have on actually doesn't have any extra, but it is pocketed. Okay, so if we went back to the mechanized, this is mirrored. So if we go back to this one, go to the slots, hey, yeah, hypercure sealant, exo servos, and make it pocketed. And then it's bolstering, which is fine. This one could use some work. We have to see. We don't have fastened, which would be awesome if we did. So instead of resource hauler, well, actually, resources would be 25% less weight. We got so much stuff though that it's ridiculous. All right, so all right, there we go. For now. And then, see, that's all you can do with the outfit and the jacket, right? You can't do the same things you can do with the other stuff, so it's like, it's not really worth it. Okay. And then let's get in here to our, all right, so. Come on down here. And then we're going to look at, so these are the things we picked up. So this is the Depraved Regalia. Here's our Divergent outfit, the Divergent skirt. The clipping that you see is because the gloves don't go with it, right? So let's see, if I took those off, and then we looked at it, you can see it's there. See the gloves? Because it has its own gloves, so it's just clipping. So this is the Mantis jacket. And then here's the outfit, which isn't bad, actually. It's pretty cool. And these are the Miscreant scraps, which is pretty nice. Right? And this is the suit, the Miscreant suit. And you see we have it lets us keep the jacket, rune jacket on top. And we have, where is it? Let's see. I think that's everything that we picked up. Now, suit. So you can see what we have right here. So, this is the ablative Miscreant spacesuit. It's not bad. The bounty hunters, it is what it is. If they were form-fitting, they would be better, but they're not. Now, this is the Mantis cape, which I don't know what the purpose is or what it does. I'll have to look at it and see if anything. But here's the mechanized. What you see is the Vagabond suit. So it basically has the jacket, right? And then here's the regular Mantis suit. So the Vagabond is you can see the Mantis suit underneath, but it has the jacket over top. And then that's the one we've been wearing. Okay, so that's it. So in truth, though, and just because we're going to go this way for now. And then the packs, you see we got a ton of packs right now. So that's what we're doing. It's got 20 carry. This is the armor plated. Doesn't have any carry weight, so it's not better. But you can see, I like the design of it without the big thing sticking out of it. Then you got the mercenary. And you see, I don't like all that extra stuff, but it doesn't have any carry weight to it. So right now, we're just going to go with what we got. And then the helmet right? This is the miscreant. So this is one we're carrying. And it doesn't have any carry weight, so neither does this one, but it goes with the suit, right? And it's much better. Then this is the Vagabond one that actually goes with the suit, but it, you know, this one is better than the other one. I really like this one. This one's kind of chill too. Okay, so if we're going to go with anything, we would probably go with this one. Switch it. All right. And then outfit wise, yeah, we're not gonna switch up the outfit. Yeah, I already showed you what they look like, so there you have it. All right, let's see. Now that we have everything, that we've collected everything here, okay. And it should put us out where we first found those bodies. Is there two piles or just one? Oh, was he standing around? Now, we get to go find out. Whoa. Whoa. We're gonna die. Okay. It felt like we were about to die there. Okay. So this is the mantis. Well, actually, the razorback. So this is us, which is pretty chill. I'm sorry, razor leaf. Did I say razorback? Must be thinking of Arkansas. Okay, so we come on board. Captain's quarters. Nothing in there. We'll take that. Take the chunks. You see, I can't, even when I'm completely over encumbered, I still can't help but loot. We will come back this way. We'll see if these are empty. Kind of would suck if all of them are empty. You can't even just give us one weapon? Oh, guess you could. The Superior Orion. Anything else? Yes, beggars can be beggars. Whoa. We got a lot of rounds for that one too. Okay. So, yep, that's everything. Oops. With all the weight we're carrying, I should have just smashed our legs down to nubs. Nothing in the captain's locker. We will clear out the cargo hold. And then boom. Now, ship already added. So let's look at our fleet. And there's number 18. Nice. Look at that. We're carrying four and like 4.25 times our total capacity right now. Maybe 4.5. $475 times 4 is 1,900. We're carrying 21 something. So yeah. So we're carrying more than 200 pounds, more than 4 times. Gosh, we gotta stop doing that. Ain't that something? Just waiting there to give us more goodies. All right. And if we wanted to, we could recycle a ton of items. Right? And then now the recycle items is the junk recycler, not the legendary recycler. So again, what that would allow us to do is come in here and say with the weapons is just recycle all the stuff that isn't gonna work out for us. And I didn't mean to recycle that one. See, we can do that. And then if we look at our new items, we can see a lot of stuff that was just added from recycling, all that stuff. Fiber, right? Helium, hypercatalyst, all that stuff. Oh, we got a ton of skill points too. But yeah, so that. So now I hope what this was to do and what this was supposed to do here was kind of just give an insight and kind of just showing, right, the aspects of the mods as to why we have them all loaded together as opposed to just going strictly with Darkstar Game Overhaul. You know, and then basically entrusting that one mod to do everything the other mods were doing for us. And then also not taking a stand, but taking control of our game and saying, no, I'm not willing to give those features up. Right? And I'm definitely not willing to give those features up after paying you $10 to take them away. And you know, the thing was, and one of the things that I could have done was just waited a little longer and looked at a couple more videos showing exactly and really paying attention, because I did watch a video showing me how you were still able to do some of the Darkstar, you know, some of the modification stuff, and you know, and how it was all incorporated into the Darkstar Game Overhaul stuff. So into the benches and everything. So it's like, okay, all right, it's still there. And then so in trusting that, and not really, and then part of it is my fault because I didn't look closer to see, oh, wait, there's restrictions and there's requirements there. Right? There's, you know, I didn't look to see that, oh, you had to have a payload skill of 3 or 2, or, you know, or you had to have not aerodynamics, but whatever it was, aeronautics skill of 2 or 3, right? For whatever it was that you're trying to do. So not looking at those, not paying attention, I then purchased the mod, get it on in my game, and you know, put it on my game, and then find out after doing so, and then, you know, basically listening to the mod author say, hey, all 3 of these mods are now incorporated into this one, so you don't need them anymore. And then so following that guideline, those guidelines, saying, okay, I'll take them off. And then finding out the hard way when I load up my save with the mods now gone, there's nothing I can do. It's gone. You know, everything is gone now. And it's like, wait a minute, wait, whoa. And that's where we were at, you know, and that's kind of why now I don't play, you know, and then when you look at the list of mods that I say I don't play this game without, you know, on that list and very close to the top is Legendary Module Recycler and Darkstar Astrodynamics. Those mods are just, they're in, I'm going to say they are my go-to, and they're my mainstay mods, right? There's, you know, now Shade's Immersive Looter kind of is, it was probably right at the very top of my list, to tell you the truth, right? Isn't as necessary now because of Gorefield, but then the question is, you know, am I wanting to play with Gorefield all the time? Do I want that part in my game? And it has this, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's cool, sometimes it's just a bit much, and so I'm not sure yet. I'm really not sure. Darkstar Game Overhaul, what it does for gameplay and AI and, you know, combat, I can get past the bullet sponginess stuff, you know, and I can accept that. And, you know, because of the trade-off for what it does for AI, you know, makes what it does with the AI mechanics for the enemies, right? It makes them more aggressive. They charge you, they, you know, but I will say this, could I go out and find mods that will do the same thing and not cost anything? I think to a point, yeah. But I will say this, I've been, you know, with my New Game Plus character, Rona, you know, when she was level 120, level 130, you know, I'm out there and boom, you know, I'm facing a level 292 Terramorph. That's Darkstar Overhaul. Game Overhaul. That's, so that you don't get that. You don't get that. I don't know of any other mod that will give you that. Not that large of a discrepancy in levels. And I have to be honest, I kind of like that. You see this right here that just popped? 17, so the crew's eating, even though most of my crew is robots. So I'm kind of wondering, how are they eating and why? So, and I think that might be a slight flaw in the mod, right? The mod is counting just total number of crew. And then so what it's doing is saying, okay, so we need 17 items to be eaten. And it isn't making a distinction between, well, how many actual humanoid crew members that you have, so that in truth, what you would have is a type, right? So humanoids, they will eat, drink, right? Eat and drink and need to sleep. Any robots, Vasco or any other ones, right? They wouldn't need to eat, drink, or sleep. So if you want, you say those types would need, repairs, certain type of repairs, charging, things like that. So, I don't know if that really is a cost at all. So right now, yeah, we got 17 individuals eating food on our ship, but we don't have that many actual humanoid crew that should be eating. So I think that's just a flaw in the mod. But like with real fuel, it's just something you have to you understand, take with a grain of salt, and adjust for. That's why you see me always picking up food now, right? Because it's like, hey, I gotta feed my crew. Even though the majority of my crew is robots, right? Are robots. But I still have to feed them. And again, that's because you would like to see an update in the mod that says, oh, you only have 3 humanoid crew members right now. So you only have 3 people actually eating your food, not 17. So, and I don't even think we have that many, to tell you the truth. I don't know. So yeah, that's where, so again, I'm going to, like I said, I'm a proponent, do as you want to do. Don't let people dictate to you what's good, what's not good, what you enjoy or what you don't like. And, it's really what you can live with, and then I got people, they always telling me, I got people saying, hey, well, have you tried this one? Have you tried this? There are more mods out there that, at some point is like, okay, I need to really look into certain types of mods. Like Grindterra was a mod thing that I was using before, and there's so many different ones of those that it's becoming very interesting to see, well, what will that do if I get that whole mod series together and put that on there. And then you have the royal mods that do things as well, right? And then, so there are mods out there that will change the AI, combat AI, right? And there may be mods out there to do exactly the same thing. And then there are mods that, dynamic system levels and dynamic universe, that does try to keep the enemy levels, within a range of your level. Sometimes higher, sometimes, lower, but within a certain range. So wherever you go, that system, if you're level 60, that system is level 60. Me, I'd prefer if I was level 60, then, you know, I still would like to see a more dynamic levels, system levels where, okay, instead, if I'm level 60, then the minimal system level at that point will be 50. Okay. But I still wouldn't, it would not hurt my heart that there still would be a large portion of systems that are still way higher level than I am, you know, with the max maybe being, you know, twice my level, 120. Or in all honesty, I still wouldn't be mad if there would still be, you know, if you're talking 1,000 systems, you know, and I'm level 60. And, you know, the thing is, we don't want systems that are so much lower than we are. So it wouldn't hurt my heart if you were to say, okay, I would put a random, you know, not a random, but a distribution curve together, and then say, okay, my range is 50. If I'm level 60, the range is 50 to 300. And then, you know, you would do that distribution where your midpoint is around 150. So the majority of your systems are probably in that range, right? In that range with, you know, 1 to 2, you know, I can't even call what it, you know, whatever it's called. And what you want is, so basically the majority of our systems would fall between, say, so if 150 would be our median, and what we would want is we want to go 15 to 20 in either directions. So we would want the majority of our systems to be probably between 120 and 180, right? And then, you know, that way, if we're worried about, you know, you still have a bunch of systems that are 50, 60, a few systems, right? But the majority of them are, you know, double your level, you know, 2 to 2.5 times your level. And then you have to say, okay, do I really want to go there? You know what I mean? Make that decision. So, and if you don't want to go that high or have that wide of a gap, you know, range, then, you know, say, okay, you know, 50 to 150, right? With the majority of them being around anywhere from 80 to 110 or 120, right? And then, you know, so still, you have to think about it if you're going to go in that system. You're level 60, that system's level 80, you know, and boom. But that doesn't mean every creature in there is level 80 or every enemy is in there. They're going to have their range and distribution as well, right? So you still can go in there in this level 80 system, but yeah, you can still have your outliers out there, you know, your 3 to 5%, you know, that are 120, level 120. You know, you can still get away, you know, not say get away with it, but so yeah, I'd like to see more of stuff like that. So are there mods that do that? They try, at least. I think Dynamic Universe was doing an okay job. I just think that Darkstar Game Overhaul does a better job. Okay. And then, like I said, enemy AI, combat AI. I'm sure you can find all kinds of mods for free that kind of do the same thing. Now, will it do everything and all of it together? No, that's why it's altogether comprehensive and why it costs so much money. Like I said, though, the problem is it just does too much, in my opinion. There's too many things that it changes, and I need some of those things to stay the same. And so that's why we did what we did, and that's why I run those mods. So yeah, 3 hours and 3 hours to go just to explain, hey, it did more than what I wanted it to do, so I had to run the other mods in order to make up for, or to bring it back to the way I like it. And really, that is it. That is it in a nutshell. So, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna call it a night, and then I'm going to we'll post this soon, and yeah, well, those of you that are curious, there's my answer. That's why I'm running all three together instead of just relying solely on Darkstar Game Overhaul. It's a nice mod, and I play with it on every single playthrough right now. So yeah, do I recommend it? I would say yes, but know what you're getting into before you do it, right? Don't spend your money unless you're okay with all the changes it makes, or if you understand what you can do to work around some of the changes that it makes, and understand like what key things you want in your game and your playthrough, right? Because I'm very particular about what I want, which is what sometimes makes the Real Fuel mod and the there was one other that we just saw make them a little bit more difficult to have, in my game, because they're not accurate. And it's like, you tell me it's going to cost me 2 fuel, but then it costs me 120, or you tell me it's going to cost 3 fuel or 30 and it costs 300, so it's too random, it's too inaccurate, it's things like that, and it's like, it really bothers me. But again, like I said, I've been able to figure out workarounds and things that I can do so that it's not as impactful. And after a while, you can just start to ignore, which I don't like. I don't think that's the way to do it. I really don't think that's a good way to do something, right? If something's broke, fix it. Figure it out. Especially if you're charging money for it. Figure it out. And don't I think it's pretty, and then and like I said, I'm not trying to disparage anybody, but I think it's pretty shoddy to say, yeah, I'm giving you this, I'm going to charge you for it, but then I just want you, whatever you see on the screen, you just have to disregard it. It's not going to be accurate. And it's like, okay, well, wait, what? You know what I'm saying? And then and that, like I said, so some of these other things, it's like, okay, wait a minute, no, but again, like I said, you have to understand and keep in mind, what things are you willing to accept? What are you willing to live with? And if you're willing to live with this, willing to live with that, then fine. Okay. But if you're charging me for it, you got to be accountable. And you really, I just can't you can't just put a note on the mod page saying, yeah, the calculation is going to be inaccurate. And then and for me, it's like, there's a tolerance level, and then I know, and I've said this long before, there's a tolerance level for inaccuracy, right? And generally it's not that big of, it's not that wide of a gap. So, 5, maybe 10%, and then we're talking about a game. So, okay, we go as high as, 20%, 25%. So if you tell me it's going to take me, 5 fuel and it takes 6, okay, or 6.5 fuel. All right, we okay. if you tell me if you're gonna show me a calculation and it says 5, and then it actually takes me 50 or 500 or 150, we got a problem. You see? So that's why, like I said, you got to take, when you look at these, you got to look at all the different things. And then, like I said, a blurb on your page, on the mod page that says the calculation is slightly off, that's not acceptable. Unless you're going to say it's drastically off. And you guys just watched earlier today, right? You've seen, there were 3 different occasions where we were told where we see one thing and it wasn't even close. You know, hundreds of times off. So, yeah, no, wasn't 10 times off, you know. Yeah, so no. So, even then, right? If it's double what the calculation, are you okay with that? Double or triple? So, again, so there we have it, right? And then when you think about it too, like I said, for me, my go-to mods that I will not play without, right? A lot of it's the clothing mods, right? Because you can see here, I will not go without the Crimson Fleet stuff, the Varun gear. I would not go without the Mantis map, the Mantis. We haven't been able to get the Nomad. We haven't been able to find the Nomad spacesuit. But I won't play without that. And then so there's a lot of clothing mods that I and then that's really your taste, right, for the clothing stuff. But you know, the vehicle tuner, Shade's vehicle tuner, Shade's immersive looter, the settings, the gameplay settings, that, you know, does this, right? Gameplay options, right? I will not play without that, right? And then the XP multiplier, the Baka, Bedlam, you know, will not play without Bedlam. The Junk Recycler, will not play without that. Actually do like TG's galactic thing there. So that one is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Will I play without it? I can, but I don't want to. The Bedlam one won't play without it. Like I said, I really do like what Darkstar does for the challenge and the AI and stuff like that. So yeah, we will play with it. But again, like I said, I will not play without Darkstar Astrodynamics. I will not play without the legendary recycler. Just won't. Will not. So yeah, those are the key ones that I require in every game that I play. Now, a lot of mods that I have added to my game as well are, you know, just simple quest mods, you know, and I don't know, there's just a lot of cool things that you can add to this game, you know, and and I'm leaving out the most important one, and I am so sorry for that. So, you know, I said XP slider, gameplay options extended, right? I like KZ aggregation of scraps, right? Peak performance is doing all right for me, but the one that really changes the game for me a lot, aside from Bedlam and Darkstar Game Overhaul, where, like I said, I'm going to give them their credit, is Dark Universe Overtime. That's where you get all the extra mission board missions. Dark Universe Overtime. So that one, top of my list. That and Bedlam, those two top of my list, and fully 100% recommend those without a doubt. So if you're going to play, you got to have those as part of your game for sure. Okay, guys, with that said, I'm out of here. My voice is gone. So I've talked way too much today. And we will see you next time. All right? Later.